docket. Good morning, everyone. I'm Judge Jackie Powell, and this is first appearance court. Today, I will let you know if I've determined probable cause, and then we will talk about release conditions. I encourage everyone every morning. Sometimes people listen to me, sometimes they don't, but do not talk about your case on the record because everything in this courtroom is being recorded and can be used against you at a later time. If you have counsel, either attorneys from the public defender's office, or if you have private counsel, you may want to consult with your attorney before saying anything on the record. Again, I say this every morning, and as someone always inevitably say, I'm not going to talk about my case, and then proceed to talk about their case. So I can't give you legal advice, so I'm just giving you fair warning that everything is being recorded and can be used against you. In the courtroom, I have with me as well the attorney from the state attorney's office, as well as I have confinement status and pretrial supervision, and I also have the clerk of courts who maintains the records. If you have private counsel who's not in the courtroom, you can certainly let me know who that person is, and we will try and see how we can facilitate you through that process. But I also want to let you know that unless you or your family retained that private counsel for this arrest, they may not be representing you on this case. So if you have an attorney who always takes your case when you call them, that's fine. But unless you've retained them for this arrest, they're not representing you. And I say that because people always tell me, yes, Judge, I have private counsel. We call the attorney, and then the attorney say, no, we're not representing you on this. So you just need to understand that unless you've retained them for this case, they're not representing you. All right, so for Mr. Reedy, has the jail asked for anyone to be called out of turn?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, so let's begin at the top of the docket, and then Mr. Romero,
Yes, Judge.
on page 23 of the docket, there is Kane Viveros.
Yes,
He has private counsel when he's
He's here.
available. He's here?
he's here.
Okay,
Our cutoff, Judge, yeah, I'll let you know right now, is page 27. Judge, 27.
okay. All right, so let's do page 2 first. There's someone who signed in on page 2.
And that would be for
Takira
Mr. Paul Ryan,
Span.
Judge.
Paul Ryan, okay.
Good morning, Your Honor. Garcia Early on behalf of Takira Span.
Good morning, Ms. Early. All right, Ms. Span is before the court for touch or strike battery. And the court does find probable cause. And I'll hear from the attorneys.
Your Honor, I'm going to be requesting a $1,000 bond in order of no victim contact. I acknowledge that Ms. Span has no criminal history, and I have been provided a waiver of prosecution by defense counsel from the alleged victim. My concern in this matter is the allegations, but specifically the allegation that the victim's 4 children were present in the room, particularly his 6-month-old infant son when this allegedly occurred. And noting, while he refused to give a statement, he did allow officers to take photographs of his injuries that were suffered.
Okay,
Your Honor, on behalf of Ms. Span, she denies the allegations in the PC. This was a domestic violence issue between siblings. And in this case, not only did the alleged victim/brother sign a waiver of prosecution, but it has also retracted some of the statements that are in the probable cause affidavit. Furthermore, Your Honor, Ms. Span is currently a full-time student attending Bethune-Cookman College, currently unemployed. She was set for Your Honor's docket yesterday for magistrate hearing. I'm not sure what occurred, but that is well beyond the 24 hours pursuant to Florida Rule Criminal Procedure 3.130. We're respectfully requesting, as counsel stated, she does not have a criminal history. She's currently unemployed, unable to post bond. With regards to the no contact order, not only did the brother state when the officers arrived that he did not wish to prosecute, but according to the probable cause affidavit, they do reside together. My concern is that if Your Honor enters a no contact order, that will leave Ms. Spann without a place to reside. If Your Honor is concerned about the safety and well-being of the children as well as the brother, I'm respectfully requesting a no harmful contact so that Ms. Spann can return to her residence. However, I am confident that this case will be no pros very soon.
Well, just to answer one question, I guess it's a question that you have. She was on the docket for yesterday. It was reset for first appearance this morning because she was before her division judge yesterday. And so they couldn't have her in both places at the same time. So
No,
that's
and I
what,
spoke with counsel, and I suspect, I can't be certain, but I suspect because she might have been in front of a family court judge for a shelter hearing because of the allegations that there were children, the allegations involving children in this matter.
And
Because I don't see any other pending cases. That
No, that is incorrect. She was, I confirmed that she was not before any DCF. There has not been an open DCF case, and although the children were present, they were not actually in the room when this alleged incident argument occurred. So based on that, Your Honor, I'm respectfully requesting that Ms. Spann will be released ROR, considering her inability to pay her ties to the community and the fact that she is a full-time student without employment.
And
All right.
The only other request I would make is if the court is inclined not to issue a no contact order, frankly, I would ask that the court just not issue any kind of no contact order. My concern is, one, really a no harmful contact
Right.
really has no effect.
I
Two,
don't do that.
it can think, all right.
All right, because that doesn't make any sense. So it's either it's no contact or contact. So based on the waiver that the alleged victim has signed and given to the state, and the lack of any prior criminal history, I will ROR Ms. Spann on this case.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a blessed day, everyone.
All right, Kane Viveros.
Good morning, Your Honor. Sebastian Catron on his behalf. To my left is his mother.
Okay. All right, Mr. Viveros is before the court this morning. Charge number 1 is burglary with assault or battery, and number 2 is a criminal mischief. Okay, and the court finds probable cause.
Your Honor, the state is going to be seeking a no bond hold at this time for first appearance purposes only, and finding a proof evident or presumption great. I spoke with Mr. Catron about this matter. I acknowledge Mr. Viveros has no criminal history. My concern in this situation, obviously, we're dealing with a road rage situation where, based on the allegations, Mr. Viveros armed himself with a bat, attacking the victim who was in his vehicle, unable to retreat from the situation because of traffic matters that are mentioned in the report. Also noting he identified the victim and that the incident was captured on video by a passerby.
Judge, if you can swear his mom in.
Okay, all right, ma'am, can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth? You can put your hand down. And Mr. Catron, you probably need to get her a little bit closer to the microphone, because she's, and then, ma'am, can you state your name for the record?
Lydia Million.
Million?
Yes.
Okay, good morning, Miss
Good
Million.
morning.
All right,
Ma'am, how do you know young Mr. Viveros?
I'm his mother.
Okay, and where does he live?
With me.
Okay, and is that a house or apartment?
A house.
Okay, and how long has he lived there?
He's lived with me his whole life.
His whole life?
Yeah.
How old is he?
20.
Okay, and who else lives in the home?
My 3 children.
Okay, and their ages?
11, 13, and 6.
Okay, and what does your son do for a living?
He's a dishwasher at a pizza restaurant now.
Okay, and he's full-time employed?
Yes.
Okay, and he's always been full-time employed?
Yeah, on and off.
Okay, and he's never been in trouble before?
No.
You guys go to church?
Yes.
Okay, where do you go to church?
Potential.
Okay, and how long have you guys lived in South Florida?
Our whole lives.
Your whole life? Okay, any other family here?
Yes, his father and his family and my family.
You have the whole family, it's like a
Yeah.
whole extended family, correct?
Yes,
All right,
correct.
and nowhere else, it's all here in South Florida?
Pretty much.
If the judge was to release your son on bond and also conditions of bond, like say an ankle monitor
Right.
or, a GPS tracker, you guys have no problem with that? There's a
No.
telephone in the home and you'll be able to plug everything in.
Yeah, well,
We
we
don't
don't.
have to worry about that anymore? That's what I get. I'm showing-
21st
I'm showing
century,
my-
Mr.
I'm showing my age, yes. I don't have any other questions, Your Honor.
okay. All right, Mr. Catrone is saying. No, no, don't pull Mr. Reedy into this.
Mr. Reedy knows they don't need a phone.
All right, okay, so based on the probable cause affidavit at this time, at this time, I am not going to make a finding of proof, evident, presumption, great. There's just not sufficient evidence there at this time for this court to make that finding. So I will impose a bond. State, did you,
Your Honor, I would be requesting a $20,000 bond since this is, and in pretrial release GPS, no victim contact, because this is a punishable by life offense that Your Honor did find probable cause for, and noting, as I mentioned earlier, the alleged use of a weapon, in this matter, a bat.
Single mom, 3 kids, 4 kids.
okay?
Could you do it a little longer? I mean, he's gonna be on, I mean, I agree with the condition,
Right,
but if you could make it as low as
okay. Did you, I know you took information about where he works and the family situation, but how much bond is Ms. Lane, does she think she can afford? All right. Okay. All right, so at this time, I will impose the $10,000 bond. It's going to include a level 2 GPS, no victim contact. And I don't know if you know this person or have information about this person, Mr. Viveros, but it means no phone calls, no text messages, no social media, no third-party contact. Do you understand that, sir? Okay.
Answer out loud.
I guess the microphone is not on. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, good luck, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right, Lucretia Steele,
She's here present, Judge at Main, approaching.
and then if you could tell us, the Spanish interpreter is here, if you can tell us who
I
needs the
believe
Spanish
he is on
interpreter?
page 12, Judge. His name is Mr. Alaman.
Alaman?
Correct.
You got that?
What page?
All right, so Ms. Steele is before the court on 2 misdemeanor KPS matters. It's for battery and violation of injunction. Domestic, the court finds probable cause. Ms. Steele does have court tomorrow before her division judge at 8:45. And she also has $2,000 bond on each count, okay?
Is it? Yeah, okay.
All right. And then for the Spanish interpreter, Emerson Alaman Martinez, that's on page 12. Is that
Señor
correct?
Alaman? Señor Alaman?
All right, Mr. Alaman is before the court,
El alemán está frente al tribunal
1 count of touch or strike battery.
por un cargo de tocar, golpear, agresión.
The court finds probable cause.
La jueza haya motivo justificado.
And I'll hear from the parties as to bond.
Y voy a escuchar de las partes sobre la fianza.
Your Honor, I see no history. Based on the level of violence, I'd be requesting a $2,000 bond, no
Pido
victim
$2,000
contact.
de fianza basado en el nivel de violencia.
Judge, Judge, our only, request is gonna be a phone order, so he can access his phone contacts to contact his friends and family.
Una
Request a
orden de
monetary bond.
teléfono para pagar la fianza.
All right, I'll impose a $2,000
Voy a
bond.
ponerle fianza de $2,000.
No victim contact.
No contacto con la víctima.
That means no phone
Quiere
calls,
decir no llamadas telefónicas,
no text messaging,
no mensajes textos,
no social media,
no internet
no third-party contact.
y no contacto por tercer parte.
Do you understand that, sir?
¿Entiende eso, señor?
No voy a poder.
¿Me entiendes?
Entiendo, pero no voy a poder ver a mi hijo y a recoger mis cosas a mi casa.
Yes, but I won't be able to pick up my son and pick up my things at the house.
Judge, my understanding is the court order involves the victim, not the children, so that shouldn't affect his
Es que
ability
es
to
la
see his children.
víctima, no los niños, así que no evita que vea a los niños.
Right.
And I would
Correcto.
ask the court if the court would be inclined to sign one-time permission to go to his residence to pick up his property with law enforcement.
Y que pueda ir una vez a la residencia con policía.
I will sign that order.
Voy a firmar esa orden.
Hi, Mr. Shades, you've got lots. Do you have somewhere else
As
to
far
be?
as I know, there's no other Spanish speaking individual here at the jail at this time, Judge.
All right, thank you. At any of the other facilities, do we,
¿Alguien más necesita intérprete en español?
No one at the county, Your Honor.
all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Deborah Ferrari.
North Broward, Judge.
Deborah Ferrari. Deborah Ferrari.
Approaching.
What do I do?
Just stand right there in front of the podium.
All right, Ms. Ferrari, you are before the court this morning. Charge number 1 is DUI, third offense over 10 years.
I've never had a DUI
Ma'am,
before.
ma'am, I'm gonna advise you not to talk about your case. Speak to your attorney if there's something that you wish to say,
I
okay?
don't have an attorney.
All right.
Yes, yes, you do. We spoke a little while ago, Miss Ferrari.
All right, counts 2 through 7 are
Yeah, I only went around the corner. How did I?
Ma'am, stop talking and let me finish, okay? Counts 2 through 7, DUI with damage to property or person of another. Number 8, careless driving. Number 9, license not carried or exhibited. Number 10, failure to display vehicle registration. 11, no proof of insurance. 12, possession of open container. And 13, failure to change address on driver's license. Okay? All right. So, my only question, in reading the probable cause affidavits, I see 6 counts of DUI with property damage and,
The reason is, Your Honor,
yes,
they were the 2 cars she hit.
right.
Her car, from what I can tell, it was a rental, so
Okay.
it's someone else's property.
Okay,
And then, one moment.
It's a rental.
Technically, Your Honor, under the case law, crashing into a tree, it's city property.
okay, so that's 4,
Yeah.
all right? All right, so,
Let me see, I'm just trying, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. Just making sure that no one was treated for,
well, that's fine, because I read it a few times. I saw those 4, but I didn't.
yeah, I'm fine with 4 counts.
All right, so I'll make a probable cause finding for 4 counts of the DUI with damage to property, so I'll just do 6 and 7, no probable cause.
Okay.
Okay? All right. So, now I'll hear as to bond.
Your Honor, and I spoke with Mr. Reedy earlier about this. Ms. Ferrari does have 2 prior DUI convictions. It is reflected on her driving record. She was convicted of 1 DUI on May 30th, 2007, out of Indian River County. And she was also convicted of DUI in Broward County on June, with a breath alcohol above a .2 on June 18th, 2008. I can advise you, according to the clerk's system, that was under case number 07-11216 MM10A. Ms. Ferrari pled to the offense before Judge Joseph Murphy on June 18th, 2008. She was, looks like she was placed on a year of reporting probation, given a 2-year interlock restriction, and other sentence conditions. Your Honor, I'm going to be requesting, in addition to the standard bonds, I'm going to be requesting pretrial release with a TAD monitor, random testing, no alcohol or intoxicants, no driving. I'm very concerned for the safety of the community, noting that, Your Honor, first, she struck 2 vehicles, appears to have lost control of her car, drove up onto the side of the road, and struck a tree. Moment. Went onto a sidewalk before striking the tree. I would also note that according to the testing, her blood alcohol was a .27, and by her own admission, and according to the results, there was also Xanax, the presence of Xanax was detected in her blood.
I have a prescription for that.
Okay. All right.
Based on my conversations with Ms. Ferrari, I know that initially she had stated to the court that she did not have any prior DUIs. I don't know that that's still her position, but in any event, she's not going to be able to make this kind of a financial bond or make much of a financial monetary bond at all. Is that right, Ms. Ferrari?
I have a credit card with me.
And how much is on the credit card?
I don't know. I just want to go home.
How long have you been living where you live now?
About 4 years.
And who do you live with?
Myself. I can't stand up too much longer. I haven't eaten or slept in 3 or 4 days.
All right, at this time, I am going to leave the standard bonds in place, and also that's going to include, pretrial supervision with a TAD monitor, random drug testing, no alcohol or intoxicants, ma'am, and, I think that covers it. Okay, so pre-trial, TAD monitor, random drug testing, no alcohol or intoxicants, okay?
Judge, I'm going to ask you to sign a phone order as well so she can reach out to some people to maybe help her post her bond.
Okay,
Yeah, I need to get my phone out of my belongings so I can call my neighbor.
okay,
That's what we're going to do, Miss Ferrari.
My door is unlocked and my money's in my drawer and
all
I
right,
don't know.
Ms. Ferrari, talk to your attorney about those personal things, okay?
How do I get an
Counts,
attorney?
count 6 and 7, no probable cause. Yes. Yes. All right, okay. All right, Laura Coleman.
Your charge of parking.
Is this Emma Coleman? doing her.
All right, Ms. Coleman is before the court for one count of possession of cannabis, 20 grams or less.
Skip it.
The court finds probable cause. And I'll hear from the parties.
Judge, this is a misdemeanor possession of cannabis offense. Would the state have an objection if, with an outright ROR?
Yeah, because she's out on bond for grand theft.
Judge, one moment. Judge, I just spoke to Ms. Coleman. Unfortunately, there's not going to be anyone that's going to be helping her out financially if it's $100. I understand she's out on a case, and normally on a cannabis, I would be just asking for an ROR. I just found out as far as the new information Mr. Leonard advised me. Having said that, Judge, we're being inclined on this cannabis offense to release her on pretrial release with random drug testing.
Does Ms. Coleman have any other priors other than the pending charge?
One moment, Judge. No other priors, Judge.
All right, so I'll release Ms. Coleman to pretrial supervision on this charge. Ma'am, you need to report to the pretrial office within 24 hours of your release. Failure to do so, a warrant will be issued for your arrest, and also you'll be subjected to random drug testing. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right, good luck. Felicia Fisher.
North Broward.
Felicia Fisher at North Broward.
Yes, Judge. Miss Fisher,
Medical reset.
Okay,
is a medical reset.
all right, thank you. Donna Davis.
She's here present, Judge, I mean.
All right, Ms. Davis is before the court on charge number 1 is possession of cannabis 20 grams or less. And number 2 is a felony capias with a no bond hold. That's not for magistrate. Ms. Davis does have court tomorrow before her division judge. Her bond on count 1 is $100. Good luck, ma'am. Jatika Swain.
Ms. Swain is approaching, Judge, here at Maine.
Ms. Swain is before the court this morning for grand theft auto. The court finds probable cause. I hear from the parties as to bond.
Judge, I'm going to be asking if the court would consider releasing Ms. Swain on straight ROR. My understanding, she has very limited contact with the criminal justice system. She's a registered voter here in our community. She's been here her whole entire life. She works as a security guard. She lives in North Lauderdale with her mother. So, Judge, on this nonviolent offense, if the court were inclined to release her ROR, that's what we're asking for. But in the alternative, I would just then ask you to leave the bond in place, and then I would ask you to sign a phone order so she can contact her to post her monetary bond.
Your Honor, while the case didn't involve a plea, this is not her first contact with the criminal justice system. In 2012, she was arrested in Dade County for grand theft. She ended up going through a diversion program.
And that was when?
2012.
Okay. All right, so I'll release Ms. Swain to pretrial supervision. Ma'am, we estimate.
Judge, that's why I said it. We were gonna ask for straight ROR. If not, in the alternative, if the court wasn't comfortable with the straight ROR, then we're asking just for a straight phone order so she can contact her friends or family post her bond.
And her bond
Thank
is
you.
$1,000.
Thank you.
Shikai Thompson,
Medical reset.
Ms. Thompson is a medical reset. Natalie Valdez,
Ms. Valdez, come on up, please.
or Ms. Valdez is before the court for 6 counts of obtaining controlled substance by forgery. The court finds probable cause.
Judge, can we see if her bond's been posted?
Natalie Valdez. There's no showing of the bond being posted.
Judge, in that case, I know she gave me the contact information of her husband. I'm going to be contacting him after court to see what's going on with that.
Does the state wish to be heard?
No, Judge.
All right, so Ms. Valdez, you have
Sorry.
$6,000 worth of bond, okay? Tanisha Jackson,
Ms. Jackson, come on, please.
L'Oreal, has this been corrected? Because I think this was
yes, this.
mistake made by
This I have a
the
question
officer. Yeah. Because he put a strong arm robbery in the booking, but I think his intention was clearly just the pretrial release warrant. There wasn't supposed to be a new charge of strong arm robbery. Okay. And she's,
All right, so there's charge number 1 shouldn't be, is that correct?
we'll take care of it at the case filing. It should just be no PC ROR at this time.
All right, so, I'll find no probable cause for count 1, and she'll be ROR'd on that count. And then Ms. Jackson has a no bond hold on count 2 for the violation of the pretrial warrant, the felony pretrial warrant, okay? All right, LaTrenda Pope,
Ms. Pope is here present at main judge, and she declined the services of public defender.
all right, Ms. Pope, are you hiring private counsel?
Yes.
All right, you are before the court this morning for 1 count of grand theft. The court finds probable cause. Does anyone, do you wish to say anything in regards to your bond?
No.
All right, state.
I'm not making any requests.
All right, so Ms. Pope, your bond is $1,000.
The only thing, Your Honor, I'd ask that you order not to return to that Walmart.
And no return to Walmart, is that at 2500 West Broward?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, no return to that Walmart, ma'am. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay, good luck. All right. Okay, Desiree Melton,
Ms. Melton is here at main judge. She's approaching, and she declined the services of public defender.
all right, Ms. Melton, do you have private counsel?
Yes, my dad. He has one.
Okay, so today you're before the court on charge number 1 is driving while license suspended. And then 2 and 3 are traffic infractions that are not from magistrate. So at this time, do you wish to say anything in regards to the setting of your bond?
No, ma'am.
All right, state, do you wish to be heard?
No, Judge.
Well, Ms. Melton, you have a total bond of $750.
Thank you.
Okay. Jasmine McCartney.
Paul Ryan, I believe, Judge.
Thank
Hold on,
you.
Your Honor, she's in court.
She's
You're-
in court, yes.
Can I see the docket, please?
This is 36 and
I'm
37.
just making sure, and my concern is this isn't one of those situations where she's not getting put off her statuses the next day and then every
Oh, no,
docket.
excuse me, Your Honor. She actually refused. She said she went to court yesterday.
Oh, well, then that's different.
Yes.
So,
I'd be requesting the court to make a probable cause
so Ms.
finding.
McCartney, I will make a probable cause finding in absentia, and she has $1,000 on 36 and 37. I guess I can understand why she doesn't want to come to
I
court
get it.
again. All right. Do we have the sign language interpreter yet?
We're waiting to hear back. We're hoping for this morning.
Apparently, there was a phone call saying, put it on for this morning, so.
Yes.
All right.
So I haven't heard confirmation of that yet, but it's pending.
All right, Fatia Flowers.
No flower.
All right, Ms. Flowers is before the court for charge 1 and 2 are grand theft, and number 3 is petty theft, and the court finds probable cause.
Judge, Ms. Flowers is asking the court to place her on pretrial release at this time. She's been a Florida resident all of her life. She's been staying in the same location for the last 18 years with her grandmother. She believes her grandmother could possibly come up with somewhere in the area of $1,000 bond. She has a couple of priors. She has had some contact with the criminal justice system in the past. She has also been working for the last 2 years in customer service, so she's gainfully employed. But she does not have enough money to make the bond as it's currently posted. She's willing to abide by all conditions of pretrial release that the court would consider to be appropriate.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I don't have an objection to pretrial. I would be requesting no victim contact.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Well, this all happened at, it was at a hospital. Which hospital?
Memorial.
Okay. All right, so, I'll release Ms. Flowers to pretrial supervision, and.
Thank you.
And I'm also going to tell you no contact
Okay,
with the
thank you.
alleged victims.
Listen,
Okay, thank you.
The deputy will give you the directions to the pretrial office. You must report within 24 hours. If you
Yes,
fail
ma'am.
to appear, a warrant will be issued for your arrest. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right, Zane Richardson.
sis, no out of state.
North Broward?
Did we lose? Okay.
Your Honor, can you put her on a recall? We'll call her down for you. It said extradition, so we didn't call her down.
Well, it's an out-of-state hold. All right. When she's
Do you
there,
need her?
yes, when she's there, let me know.
Yes, ma'am.
Jermaine Smith.
North Broward?
Did we skip Gaskell?
All right, Mr. Smith is before the court on a touch or strike battery. The court finds probable cause.
That's your docket, please.
Does the parties wish to be heard?
Smith.
Judge, I'm going to be asking for a pretrial release for Mr. Smith. He's been living here all of his life. He works construction, and he's been out of trouble for the last 7 years. He understands the importance of a no-contact order on this particular case, but he does not have financial wherewithal to post a monetary bond.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
One moment, Judge. Your Honor, I'm going to be requesting a $2,500 bond and no victim contact. It appears that Mr. Smith is eligible to have this matter upfiled to a felony as a result of his conviction for domestic violence battery in 2013 out of Jacksonville. I'm also showing 2005 out of New Jersey. He was convicted of contempt violating a judicial order, which causes the state concern based on the anticipated no contact order the court will be issuing.
Yes, but, can I say something, Judge?
Sure.
Yes, Your Honor, all of those stuff which the gentleman just talked to you or explained to you about was taken care of. I'm still with this same lady. We move out of those area, Jacksonville area. I have a 5-year-old son at home with the lady. She only want me to do the right thing, Your Honor. That's all. I love the lady, Your Honor. She just want me to do the right thing. That's the only thing she want me to do. But I'm really in love with the woman, Your Honor. She want me to do the right thing, miss. I'm not, it sounds crazy, and then I got a 5-year-old son with this woman, but even if I gotta stay here, Your Honor, I'm still gotta be back with the woman because I'm in love with her.
All right, Mr. Smith. All right, your bond is $1,500 and
But, Your Honor, I don't have any-
no victim contact until
But,
further order of the court. And no
But, Your Honor,
victim
I haven't-
contact, let me finish. No victim
Yes, ma'am.
contact means no phone calls, no text messaging, no cell phone, no third party, no social media. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. And
Okay,
one more
sir,
thing. Your Honor,
we're done now. Thank you.
but I don't have any way.
Rafael Hernandez. I'm sorry, I wanted to call some cases. Hold on just a moment. I know that the Spanish interpreter is here, but I thought we just had the Spanish interpreter.
We did, Judge.
Is there-
This is for Mr. Rafael Hernandez's family. And I think the interpreter is going to speak with
Okay,
them outside.
all right. On page 12, do we have Russell Gaskin?
Mr. Gaskin is here present, Judge.
All
He's
right.
supposed. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Gaskin. Mr. Gaskin is before the court for a violation of injunction of domestic violence. And the court finds probable cause. And I'll hear from the parties as to bond.
Your Honor, I'm requesting a $5,000 bond in order of no victim contact. I would note Mr. Gaskin was arrested earlier this year for domestic violence battery against his father with a criminal mischief, different victim than in this case. Allegations being that he punched his father in the face and then used an object to crack his father's windshield. Charges were dropped April 23rd of this year. His history also includes resisting without violence, April this year, possession of PVP 2017, possession of PVP 2015 with the violation of probation, possession of PVP 2014 with the violation of probation, resisting without violence in 2014. There was also a charge in that case of violating the same, it would appear to be the same injunction as in this case. That charge was dropped. Nothing further.
Okay?
Judge, in speaking with Mr. Gaskin, I don't think that his friends and family are going to be quite able to come up with the $5,000 bond. I was going to be requesting something more in the neighborhood of $2,000. And speaking with Mr. Gaskin, he's 24 years old, been living in our community his whole entire life. Right now, he's looking for steady employment. What he does on the side to help support his family is he washes cars. Now, he lives with his girlfriend who works at Sonic's. He lives with his mom. He is a father. He's supporting his children, Judge. I know his share of the rent is approximately $400. Judge, my understanding in speaking Mr. Gaskin is he's anxious to try and get out so he can continue working and provide for his family and his child. In speaking to, I believe his friends and family, that, as evidenced by James being here, have already reached out to a bondsman. But like I said, I believe their financial resources are limited, and that's why I was gonna be requesting about a $2,000 bond on his behalf, Judge.
All right, James?
And I spoke to his grandmother, Miss Rose Gaskin. I was going to request $1,000 bond. I know she doesn't have much income to try to help out, so I told her I'd come on her behalf and speak for her.
Well, here we have a restraining order, a permanent restraining order that's been in place since 2013. And I know that Ms. Gaskin, as indicated by James, is looking to post the bond, but she's also the person who called the cops regarding the restraining order. So based on that and the prior criminal history, I am going to impose a $5,000 bond and no victim contact. There is a restraining order in place, so we continue to try and abide by that, okay? All right, on page 26, do we have James Jennis in the room?
North Broward, Judge.
All right, can you hold on just a moment, James? Our Spanish interpreter is here for whom? Is that who, for who? Rafael Hernandez?
And Judge, Mr. Rafael Hernandez is here at Maine.
All right, North Broward, if you'll just
and-
hold up, yes?
And with Mr. Hernandez, he declined the services of public defender. He has, I believe, he mentioned an attorney by the name of Kevin Searcher, and I talked to him, had the same conversation you did, and he says that's his attorney, so the court may inquire.
All right, can we, Mr. Hernandez? I just need to find out, Mr. Hernandez, do you have an attorney?
Señor Hernández, ¿usted tiene un abogado?
I'm sorry?
Señor Hernández, ¿usted tiene abogado?
Sí, señor.
Yes, sir.
That's the family.
When did you hire did you hire the attorney for this arrest?
¿Usted
No,
contrató?
man, I hired him for my divorce.
Oh, okay, all right. So he's not hired for this case, and it appears that you do understand English, so why do we have a Spanish interpreter?
For family.
For who?
My family.
All right, let me swear you. Do you swear affirm to translate from Spanish to English and English to Spanish?
I do, Your Honor. For the record, Igor Felicioni.
All right, Mr. Hernandez, you're before the court this morning for one count of touch or strike battery.
Señor Hernández, usted está frente a la corte el día de hoy por un cargo de contacto o impacto violento.
You have advised us that you have a divorce attorney.
Nos ha notificado que usted tiene un abogado para su divorcio.
However, my question is, have you retained that attorney to represent you on this current arrest?
Sin embargo, mi pregunta es si usted ha contratado a ese abogado para que lo represente con respecto a este arresto.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so you do not have an attorney as to this new arrest.
Entonces, con respecto a este arresto, usted no tiene un abogado.
All right, and do you wish to proceed with, at this time, with the attorneys from the Public Defender's Office?
En este momento, ¿usted quiere proceder con los abogados de la Oficina del Defensor Público?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, well, I believe Mr. Romero does speak Spanish, so if you want to have a conversation with him, and then we'll be back on the record, so that we can finish this first appearance.
Yes, Judge.
There are, let me just address, there are ladies, you're here on behalf of Mr. Hernandez.
Señora, ¿ustedes están aquí en representación del señor Hernández?
Sí.
Yes.
Are any of you involved in this probable cause affidavit?
¿Alguno de ustedes estuvieron involucrados en el documento que tengo yo como el documento de causa probable?
No.
And are you ready to post bond on behalf of Mr. Hernandez?
Sí.
Yes.
And how much bond do you believe that you can afford at this time?
¿Cuánta fianza cree usted que puede pagar en este momento?
No sé cuánto sea la fianza.
I don't know how much the bond is.
Okay, how are you related to Mr.
¿Cuál es
Hernandez?
su relación con el señor Hernández?
Somos amigos.
We're friends.
Okay, and does the other lady sitting in the front wish to speak as well, or is she just here for support?
No, she's just here to accompany me.
Okay. All right, State? do you-
Fiscalía.
Your Honor, I'm requesting a $5,000 bond and no victim contact.
Solicito una fianza de $5,000 y una orden de no contacto con la víctima.
Okay.
Does Mr. Hernandez have any priors?
¿El señor Hernández tiene alguna antecedente?
He has an arrest in 2011 at a Dade. Yeah, it was battery on a law enforcement officer.
Fue agresión física en un oficial de policía.
That charge was dropped.
Ese cargo fue desestimado.
Resisting an officer without violence.
Resistirse a un oficial sin violencia.
He went through diversion.
Hizo el programa de dirección de la pena.
I am concerned about what the officer witnessed upon arriving at the home.
I'm sorry, Counselor, would you mind repeating that?
I'm concerned about what the officer witnessed upon arriving at the home.
Lo que atestiguó el oficial al llegar a la casa.
And noting that the victim suffered 2 long abrasions on the right side of her neck.
Lesiones en la parte del cuello.
Which the officer notes is consistent with the violence that she alleged against the defendant.
La violencia que alegó la víctima que fue ejercida en su contra.
Nothing further.
Más nada, su señoría.
Okay, Mr. Romero?
Judge, and speaking Mr. Hernandez right now, I asked him if he can afford the $5,000. He advised me yes, so at this time, nothing to add by the defense judge.
Me notificó que sí.
Okay, at this time, the court is imposing a $5,000 bond.
Pone una fianza de $5,000.
No victim contact until further order of the court. No victim contact means no phone calls, no text messages, no social media, no third-party contact.
Sociales, ni contacto con ella.
Do you understand that, sir?
Su señor.
Mr. Hernandez, do
Yes,
you understand the no contact order?
¿Entiende? Lo
Ma'am, I had to pick up my kids on Friday, and the place that I work, she lived right close to it because I have a nursery, and she lived right on almost on the nursery side.
Well, the order is a no contact order, so you've got to abide by that. Do you understand that?
Well, how am I gonna work?
Talk to your attorney about that, okay? All right. Is there anyone else who needs a Spanish interpreter?
No one at the county, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Judge, my only request is going to be in speaking Mr. Hernandez. I'm trying to explain to him the significance is if he returns there, that there's a no contact order in place, he's going to get rearrested. So I'm going to ask if he could go back one time with law enforcement to pick up his tools and everything that he needs for his work purposes, and so he can basically continue working, Judge.
Okay, I'll sign that order. All right, thank you.
Sure, no one else is saying that, Your Honor.
Well, this is like, you're the second person here today, so
Okay.
we've asked that question twice now already.
Have a good day, Your Honor.
All right. All right, James, if you can come back and then we can do Mr. Shades on page 26. Do we have James Jennis?
North Broward, Judge.
Oh, sorry. All right, Mr. Jennis is before the court this morning for 1 count of aggravated battery. Number 2 is criminal mischief, and number 3 is possession of cannabis, 20 grams or less. And the court finds probable cause. And hear from the parties.
here on behalf of the mother and the sister, and they wanted me to relate to the court. There's some issues, mental issues of concern. He's been off his medication for 3 months, so she has a concern. She doesn't want him at the house at all. But I guess she's gonna have family or friends try to bond him out and have him potentially go live there.
Okay,
So, but she wanted me to inform the court, so that's
okay.
it.
All right, Mr. Reedy, were you able to have a conversation with Mr. Jennings?
No, but I did read the probable cause affidavit, and, I have my concerns as well. If they're not gonna bond him out, I just ask for a reasonable bond on his cases, and our office will take care of it. We'll flag him for a mental health evaluation. And see where we go from there.
Your Honor, I'm going to be requesting a $10,000 bond, no victim contact, pretrial release of the GPS monitor. Obviously, the court's so familiar with the allegations in this case. I want to bring to the court's attention that Mr. Janus was arrested a month ago, May 14th, for criminal mischief. In that case, where the victim asked Mr. Janus to leave his property, Mr. Janus got upset and was seen on video taking a rock, throwing at the victim's car, smashing his front windshield, which is very similar to the allegations before the court this morning.
All right, we obviously have some issues at this time, so I am going to impose a $5,000 bond with a level 2 GPS, and then no victim contact. And do I need to sign an order for mental health assessment? Mr. Reedy?
Yes, Judge, I'll draft that
I'll do
order.
that, okay? All right.
Thank you.
And then, all right, the last one on page 14, O'Shane Saunders. On page 14, O'Shane Saunders.
He's here present, Judge Amain.
All right, Mr. Saunders is before the court on one count of aggravated battery. Offender knew or should have known the victim is pregnant. Number 2 is tampering in second-degree felony proceeding. And then number 3 is a traffic KPS matter for operating. The charge there is operating with a suspended driver's license. The court finds probable cause. And I hear from the parties. Good morning, ma'am. Is there something you wish to say to the court this morning? I cannot hear you. And you don't have to say anything. I am just, because you're standing there, I'm asking if you wish to say anything. But if you are going to say anything, you're gonna have to speak up so I can hear you, and probably stand a little bit closer in front of the microphone.
Saying I didn't really have anything specifically.
Okay, who are you?
I'm his fiance.
And are you the person that's involved in this altercation?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so I'll hear from the other parties.
Scared to speak. One of the issues she did have is regarding the kid. I guess he used to stay with her and her mom. Due to the case, he's not allowed to be back there, but they do have a child together, correct? So she wanted to try to see if they can have some type of contact where she can meet him at the police station to do an exchange of some type of sort. So
I'd be objecting to that at this point, considering it appears that child was a witness to this incident.
All right. All right. Does the state wish to be heard any further?
Yes, Your Honor. One moment, please. Your Honor, I see a previous Karen concealed firearm arrest out of the state of Utah. However, that was dropped. I am concerned about the allegations in this case, specifically that it appears Mr. Saunders was aware of her physical condition prior to the alleged violence being committed, but also noting that it appears that there was a 6-year-old and a 12-year-old present while this was occurring, that Ms. Williams, in desperation, was seeking to have her 12-year-old niece contact 911, but she was in too much fear based on what she was witnessing happening in the home to be able to contact 911. I'm requesting a $15,000 bond on count 1, $5,000 bond on count 2, pretrial release with a GPS monitor, no victim contact with the listed victim and both mentioned witnesses, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge, in speaking of Mr. Saunders, there's no way he's going to be able to come up with $20,000. As you heard, basically he has a clean record. He's 27 years old. He's been living in our community now for about 10 years. He just recently, I believe, had a job interview this week, actually scheduled for tomorrow, with a company called One Dot Systems. He's applying for a position to be a cable technician. Now, he was previously working recently. He worked for a tow company, and he was making only about $200 a week. So from his financial resources right now, there's no way he's going to come close to be able to post $20,000. Now, he did advise me that he has family that live in our community, specifically his cousin, but he's a delivery driver, so his financial resources are very, very limited. He's going to reach out to him to see if he can help with anything. But my understanding, Judge, is he's not going to be able to come up with that $20,000. So I'm going to be requesting a $3,500 on count 1, $1,000 bond on count 2. And I do understand the seriousness of the allegations, and I do understand as far as the low monetary bond I'm requesting. So therefore, we wouldn't have an objection if the court also wanted to have Mr. Saunders placed on standard pretrial release for supervision purposes.
All right, based on the allegations, at this time, I am going to impose a $7,500 bond on count 1, $1,000 on count 2, and no victim contact until further order of the court. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. All right, Mr. Shate. All right, on page 4, Ilshasha Sheffield.
North Broward, Judge.
North Broward.
Thank you.
The state case also.
Sheffield,
Sheffield,
on page 4. Oh. All right, Ms. Sheffield is before the court for a charge number 1 is possession of drug paraphernalia, and then number 2 is a misdemeanor KPS and an alcoholic beverage violation charge. The court finds probable cause.
For the city case, Judge, it would be a time served offer.
All right, and just so Ms. Sheffield knows that this KPS is from October 18, 2018, for failure to appear at your arraignment. So, ma'am, what do you wish to do today?
I just wanted to go home. I don't know what my options are.
And, Your Honor,
Yes.
the offer on the state charge is time served as well.
Okay. All right, ma'am, so your options are you can post your bond and come back to court at the time to fight the case, or you can resolve your case today. There is an offer on the table from both the city and the state for adjudication and time served. So you have those are your options.
So I can just agree to go home? Is what you're saying? For the
Ma'am.
second option?
I wouldn't say it that way, ma'am. You can either accept an offer of time served and be able to go home today, or you can set
Yes.
it down for trial and bond out. Or set it
I'll
for
take
court.
I'll take time served if I can get that.
Okay,
That means,
that's what they're offering you.
All right, so if you wish to resolve your case today, I'm gonna ask you to raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
You can put your hand down. And Ms. Sheffield, do you understand everything that has been presented to you today?
I hope so.
Well, I don't want you to hope, you need to know, so
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you one more time,
Yes.
let me finish. And for the rest of the questions that I ask you, your answer has to be affirmative, otherwise you're going to have to post your bond and I'll be done with this plea offer. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. So do you understand everything that's going on here today?
Yes, I believe so.
Well, all right, again, all right. Miss Sheffield can post, she has court tomorrow, so she can go to her division judge tomorrow, okay? All right, Jamilette Rose on page 4.
She's here, present, Judge, I mean.
Yeah, she also has a state case.
All right, Ms. Rose is before the court because she has 3 misdemeanor KPS matters. 2 are municipal ordinance violations and one's a state violation. The charges are loitering, prostitution, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Okay? All right, what does Ms. Rose wish to do today?
Judge, for the two
Judge,
city
seeing Ms.
cases.
Rose today, she wishes to resolve her case.
All right,
Judge, the city of Hollywood and the city of Fort Lauderdale are offering time served.
okay.
And the documented offer from the state is withhold court costs HIV test on 2.
1, 2. All right.
Those are the goals, I think, of the celebration that kind of got me behind.
Judge, she wishes to accept the state's offer and.
All right, Ms. Rose, please raise your right hand as best you can. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can put your hand down. And Ms. Rose, do you understand everything that's going on here today?
Yes, ma'am.
Is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
No, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
Do you need any more time to speak with your attorney?
No, ma'am.
And ma'am, do you understand that you have the right to go to trial, but by taking a plea today, you are giving up that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, that by taking a plea today, it could subject you to deportation or immigration changes?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you ever been treated for mental or emotional illness?
No, ma'am.
All right. So what plea do you wish to enter at this time?
No contest, ma'am.
I accept your no contest plea. I find that it's freely and voluntarily given. Counts 1 and 3, your sentence is adjudication and time served. On count 2, it's withhold adjudication, court costs. You are required to take an HIV test. You don't have to submit the results, you just have to submit the report that you've taken the test to the clerk's office. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck. On page 16, LaCharles Coakley.
Hold on, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Coakley, you're before the court on a misdemeanor KPS matter. It's a municipal ordinance violation for trespassing. Sir, what do you wish to do today?
I would like to get it over with.
All right. If you want to resolve the case, you'll be sentenced to adjudication and time served. Do you wish to accept that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
You can put your hand down. And Mr. Coakley, do you understand everything that's going on here today?
I understand, yeah.
Is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
Not at all.
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No.
Do you need any more time to speak with your attorney?
I just want to make sure I don't have a KPS once I'm done with this. I want to have a city ordinance warrant in Hollywood after this.
This is a city ordinance in Hollywood, so I don't know if there's another one. I only have what's before me this morning.
Okay, all right.
All right.
No, I don't have to talk to him.
Okay. And do you understand that you have the right to go to trial, but by taking a plea today, you are giving up that right?
I understand, yeah.
And have you ever been treated for mental or emotional illness?
Yeah.
Is there anything about that illness today that would prevent you from making an intelligent decision?
No, I'm not depressed at the moment.
Okay, and sir, do you understand that if you are not a U.S. citizen, that by taking a plea today, it could subject you to deportation or immigration changes?
Yeah.
What plea do you wish to enter, Mr. Coakley?
I plead no contest.
I accept your no contest plea. I find that it's freely and voluntarily given, and your sentence is adjudication and time served. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Cedric Greer on page 16.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Greer, you're before the court for a misdemeanor capias as well. It's a municipal ordinance violation. What do you wish to do today, sir?
Plead no content.
All right. I'll accept your no contest plea. I find that it's freely and voluntarily given, and your sentence is adjudication and time served. Good luck, sir.
Your Honor? You have
Yes.
Ms. Rick in here that was on page 5 earlier.
All right, let me just finish with these first. Joseph Curtis.
Okay.
Yes, but I need to finish with this.
He's in the main jail.
Joseph Curtis.
He's approaching, Judge. There's Mr. Sheik right there.
All right.
The city of Fort Lauderdale is not offering them a time served.
It's not?
It's not, yes.
Is there a lot of...
One of the most cases of anybody in the city of Fort Lauderdale.
All right, Mr. Curtis, you are before the court of which city? City of
Fort Lauderdale.
Can he go to community court? No, not. He's been
Ineligible.
He's ineligible for that as well.
Yes.
All right.
He's got court tomorrow.
All right. So, Mr. Curtis, you will be in court tomorrow before your division judge. Okay. All right. All right. On page 18, Wayne Golden.
Come on up, sir.
You hear your name? Mr. Golden has court again tomorrow, and same as Mr. Curtis, they would make the time served to the petty theft charge.
All right, Mr. Golden, is what city is this?
Hollywood and Fort Lauderdale.
Hollywood and Fort Lauderdale. All right, Mr. Golden, you have 3 misdemeanor cases, and they're from Hollywood, the city of Hollywood and the city of Fort Lauderdale. And due to the number of times that you've been before this court at this time, I am going to send you to your division judge, so you'll see your judge tomorrow at 9 a.m., okay? All right. Christopher Dibble on page 19. All right, Mr. Dibble is before the court on 2 municipal ordinance violations, a possession of drug paraphernalia and trespassing. And
It'd be time served, Judge.
Mr. Dibble, what do you wish to do today, sir?
Time served.
All right, what plea do you wish to enter? Guilty or no contest?
No contest.
All right, I accept your no contest plea, and your sentence is adjudication and time served. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Michael Santana on page 19.
Maine, Miami, support you.
All right, Mr. Santana has 8 misdemeanor capias matters. They're all municipal ordinance violations. I don't know when he has court.
I don't know when he has court, Judge, but they're not offering time served.
So, Mr. Santana, you'll go before your division judge on these matters, okay? All right, Tyler Osborne. on page 20. All right, Mr. Osborne is before the court on a misdemeanor KPS. It is a municipal ordinance violation. Mr. Osborne, what do you wish to do today, sir?
Plead no contest.
All right, I accept your no contest plea. I find that it's freely and voluntarily given. Your sentence is adjudication and time served. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
That's it, Judge.
All right,
Thank you. Have a great day.
you too. All right, so we have Carmelita Prudhomme. We have the sign language interpreter. No, she's right here. All right, based on our previous experience, Ms. Hannah, I think if you stand somewhere here, she'll be able to see you. Okay, do you swear or affirm to translate from sign language to English and English to sign language?
Yes, I'm Ariana, a certified interpreter for the record.
Thank you.
Push back.
She's, yes, we've gone through this before. Usually she wants you to, and her best spot is in front of me, but she needs to be able to see you. All right, Ms. Prudhomme, you are before the court this morning for one count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill. Count 2 is touch or strike battery. And count 3 is introducing contraband into the detention facility.
I'm tired of all of this. I'm done. I wanted to kill myself. I'm tired of people stealing all these things just because I can't hear, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Prudhomme, I am going to tell you not to talk about your case. And anything you say before this court can be used against you. You need to wait and let me finish speaking.
Okay, Your Honor. Okay.
All right, so anything you say can be used against you at a later time. So I encourage you to speak with your attorney.
Okay.
All right. So the court finds probable cause. And I will hear from the attorneys.
Your Honor, I'm going to request a $5,000 bond on count 1. An order of no victim contact. No return to the incident location. No possession of any firearms or weapons.
Okay. That's try to come against me. How do I defend myself?
All right. Ms. Prudhomme was before this court recently. I said it like within the past month. What other priors does she have?
Your Honor, she was arrested May 29th on prostitution and cannabis.
No, I'm not a prostitute, though. I did have cannabis, but I'm not prostituting, no. I did have possession, though.
She was ROR to and transferred to,
Ms. Prudhomme, ma'am, I'm going to ask you one more time to wait your turn, and two, to stop talking about your case. Okay,
Your Honor, transferred her case to Judge Lerner Wren's division.
yes.
Looks like she was ROR'd and released June 7th. It says she was to be picked up by immigration, but she was never picked up by immigration. And then arrested the very next day on these charges.
That's correct.
All right, based on these allegations in the probable cause affidavit, I will, I don't know if there was order for an evaluation before Judge Lerner Wren.
Checking to see if anything was ordered.
And just so Ms. Prudhomme knows that today's not her trial. And if she has a defense, she will be able to discuss that with her attorney.
I'm done. How can I call them? I'm so done. I'm trying to tell them. I'm talking about food. I can't even order my food. I can't order whatever it is that they ask me. Anything that I need to order when they ask, they won't let me be able to access the TTY or any kind of communication device for me to be able to do that. Like on the screen TV, signing, and it's older TV where the technology is not accessible. And so how am I supposed to call my mom? How am I supposed to call anybody? I'm deaf, I can't hear, I don't have accessibility.
All right, Ms. Prudhomme, Ms. Prudhomme.
Carmelita, I can call your mother for you. Is her number 754-367-2222?
Yes, 2222. Yes, that's correct. And my sister also. She's 561. 929. 02. 93.
What is your sister's name?
It's Carlene.
Will they be able to get some money together to bond you out?
I honestly don't know. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not aware. Mom or my sister. Either one of them. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know. I'm paying their bills and supporting the kids and sending all. I don't know what's left. If there's any that is left sufficient to be able to bail me out. I'm not exactly sure. I mean,
Can you live with either of them?
yes, I live with my mom.
She-
I'm on house arrest and I have probation.
No. I think that's what she's talking about.
Yes, I'm on probation. It's a different case in Broward. Broward Court, June 17th.
Your Honor,
In Broward. June 17th.
what she's referring to is the open case in front of Judge Lerner Wren. My concern is, I looked at the ROR order from Judge Lerner Wren, where she notes that she's to reside with her mother. And
That's correct.
My concern is, and I already mentioned.
Is there, why does she think she's on probation? Is there some pretrial supervision?
I don't want to speculate as to why she thinks she's on probation.
Oh, no, I just asked
Yeah,
you, you
no,
said
no.
she was ROR'd.
Yeah, she was,
But-
I suspect she may be thinking that because Judge Lorena, I imagine, when she ROR'd.
Carmelita, you've got to hold on and let one person speak at a time. So the state is speaking, so you've got to hold on.
Okay, okay.
I suspect when she was ROR, Judge Lorena might have said, you have to reside with your mother.
Okay.
But there's no actual, and actually I'm getting a call now because I reached out to Judge Lorenz J. Because it shows she was scheduled for an administrative status conference this morning in front of Judge Lorenz on the other case. So I wanted to bring to their attention what's going on, that she's here.
Okay.
And what's going on.
Yeah, because she's been reset twice to get to here today.
Exactly, so I just want to make sure they're aware of.
Okay.
I know, I didn't know what you guys are aware of. She was.
Take it easy, Carmelita.
I just want to be left alone. I have a baby.
All right. Were we on the phone with the other judge, or did we get any answers?
I'm sorry, Judge?
I was just, are you talking to that division?
I'm on the phone with Judge Lorenz J. What they're trying to figure out is, what I'm being advised is that there was a detainer hold on her on June 7th.
Okay.
And if immigration picked her up, how she wasn't in immigration custody the next day. And I've advised her judicial assistant, I have no idea.
Okay. All right. So here's what I'm going to do at this time. These are, Ms. Prudhomme was before the court recently, and she did go to her division judge. She was released on her own recognizance. Today, she's before the court for her first appearance on, these are 2 third-degree felonies and 1 misdemeanor charge. And the allegations are pretty serious. The court does have cause for concern, not only for the community, but also for Ms. Prudhomme's well-being. Information that's in the probable cause affidavit that I will not read out loud on the record at this time are also concerning as to the safety of Ms. Prudhomme. I am going to impose on charge number 1 a $5,000 bond. I will sign an order for a mental health assessment by the jail. And then she does have a case before Judge Lerner Wren, and they're trying to figure out. And they will try to figure out what other steps need to be taken in regards to Ms. Prudhomme. All right. Yes. She has an immigration bracelet? Okay, all right.
Please help me. Please help me. Please.
All right, okay, Ms. Prudhomme, You'll see your division judge and your attorneys will work with you. And you also have an immigration hold, okay? All right. Thank you.
Carmelita, I left a message for your mother to call me. So I will be speaking with your mother later.
And my sister? And my sister?
I'll call your sister too.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so when am I going home?
I don't know.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you. All right, can we go to Carl Bergman?
Paul Ryan.
All right, Mr. Bergman, Carl Bergman. All right, Paul Ryan, do we have Paul Bergman?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good morning, Judge.
That's not Carl Bergman.
Oh, no. Oh. Number is in court, Your Honor. Take it to it out.
Okay, Mr. Bergman is in court, thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Tavon Stackhouse.
He's here, President Judge at Maine, approaching. Come on up, Mr. Stackhouse.
Yes. All right, Mr. Stackhouse is before the court on one count of aggravated battery. Offender knew or should have known that the victim is pregnant. The court finds probable cause.
Michelle, did you have anything?
From the parties, Esteban.
What's that? Okay. Your Honor, based on the allegations, I'm requesting a $7,500 bond, no victim contact.
Okay.
Judge, unfortunately, Mr. Stackhouse and I spoke earlier today, and we just recently spoke. There's unfortunately no way he's going to be able to afford to post that monetary amount. We're going to be requesting a $1,000 bond on his behalf. Now, my understanding, he has a clean record. He's 24 years old. He lives here locally in Hollywood, where his monthly rent is about $700 per month. He is the provider of basically the household. He works for a company called Allied, where he makes about $10 an hour. Now, his brother is also living with him. My understanding is the alleged victim left the residence. My understanding also is that the brother would probably be trying to help post Mr. Stackhouse's monetary bond, but unfortunately his brother's not working. And basically Mr. Stackhouse provides financially for his brother, so he's not in a financial position to post any sort of bond. Judge, Mr. Stackhouse, father, and he's asking if the court would consider setting a bond as far as $1,000 on this offense, Judge.
Does Mr. Stackhouse have any priors?
No, Judge.
All right, so based on these allegations, I'm going to impose a $2,500 bond, no victim contact until further order of the court.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, was North Broward telling me that Zane Richardson is there?
Yes, Judge, they were.
Okay. All right, Ms. Richardson, I need to let you know that you have an out-of-state felony hold out of the state of Georgia. It has a no bond hold. You should be going before the extradition judge next week to handle this matter, okay?
Okay.
All right, good luck.
Okay.
Edward Kelly?
Medic one.
Medical one. Adonis Anderson.
All right.
Kelly's a reset.
Yeah, he's a PM reset, Your Honor.
Adonis Anderson?
They told me he was a PM reset.
Okay, all right. PM reset. Julian Riles.
Mr. Riles is here present at Maine. Come on up, Mr. Riles.
All right, Mr. Riles. Mr. Riles, you're before the court for two traffic capias matters. This is a capias from March 26, 2019. Driving while license suspended and failure to register vehicle are the charges. Okay? I see that these are at charges. What does Mr. Riles wish to do today?
Judge, my understanding, I believe he has other matters pending, so at this time, nothing to add by the defense.
All right, so he has a $500 bond on each count, okay? Eddie Gaspard. Mr. Gaspard bonded.
Hold on, Your Honor.
Is that
Good
Paul?
morning,
Good morning.
good morning, your judge.
Mr.
Good morning.
Are you Mr. Gaspard?
Yes.
All right, so you were before the court for a traffic capias, but I've been advised by confinement status that your bond has been posted. So you should be out today.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, good
Yeah.
luck, sir.
Thank you.
Joseph Olaya.
Proxy, Your Honor.
Morning, Ron.
Good morning, Mr. Olaya. You're before the court this morning for two additional charges. Number 9 is petty theft, and number 10 is illegal use of credit card. All right, and these are incidents from April 29th.
Mr. Olaya has a no bond hold. Count 4 and count 6.
Okay,
So at this time, I'd just ask the court to leave the bonds in place as they appear on the docket.
all right, so we'll leave the bonds in place. Good luck, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Paul Herta.
Mr. Hertha is here present at Maine. Mr. Hertha, come on up, please.
Mr. Herta is before the court for trespassing, and then there's a misdemeanor capias. Also for the same charge. The court finds probable cause. What does Mr. Herta wish to do?
Judge, it's me, Mr. Hertha. He wishes to resolve these matters today.
One moment, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, the state's offer would be a 5-day adjudication, 5 days county jail, if he wants to resolve both cases.
All right. I expect that that was gonna be the offer. This is a Speedway gas station that Mr. Herta, even in a police report, it says that they've tried to provide him different assistance and to tell him not to go back there, and he keeps going back there.
He wishes to accept the state's offer, Judge.
All right. All right, Mr. Herta, you know, I don't know what your circumstances are, but, you know, if you keep getting arrested at the Speedway, you've got to stop going back there.
Yeah.
Okay? And I don't know if there's any truth to it. I just know what I see in the police report, that you've been provided homeless assistance, clothing and stuff, and you've been told not to go back there and to try and continue to seek the services of your homeless assistant. Okay?
Yes, I'm in the middle of that.
All right, sir. So please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down. And Mr. Herta, you understand what the offer is today, 5 days in the Broward County Jail? Do you understand?
understand
You
the offer?
understand the offer for 5 days in the Broward County Jail?
You didn't even get credit for it.
Well, you'll get credit for any time you've served, but the sentence is 5 days.
Already got 3 in?
Okay.
Does he have 3 in?
No,
Well,
he was
I
just
don't know.
arrested yesterday morning.
Okay, so you'll get credit for whatever time you have.
Judge, he wishes to proceed forward.
All right. So, Mr. Herta, do you understand you have the right to go to trial, but by taking a plea today, you are giving up that right?
Yes, I'm giving it up.
Okay, and have you ever been treated for mental or emotional illness?
Yes, I'm doing it right now. I belong to Henderson Clinic.
Okay.
I'm on medication.
Okay. And so is there anything that would prevent you from making a decision today? The medication that you're taking? Okay. And do you understand, sir, that if you are not a U.S. citizen, that by taking a plea today, it could subject you to deportation or immigration changes?
Yeah, I'm a regular citizen.
Okay. What plea do you wish to enter, sir?
No contest.
I accept your no contest plea. I find that it's freely and voluntarily given. Your sentence is adjudication, 5 days the Broward County Jail with credit for any time served. And also, there's an order not to return to the Speedway gas station. Do you understand that, sir? That's on Andrews Avenue in Oakland Park.
Yes, I used to clean the parking lot. That's why I was there again.
All right, well, they don't want you to be cleaning the parking lot, so you can't be there. You understand?
All right.
Okay.
Yes, I understand.
All right, good luck, sir. All right. Andre Knudsen.
Andre, Mr. Nelson's approaching. Judge.
All right, Mr. Knudsen, you're before the court for obstruction of the highway. Panhandling, the court finds probable cause. What does Mr. Knudsen want to do today?
Judge, Mr. Nelson wishes to resolve this panhandling charge today.
All right.
Offers time served.
All right, Mr. Knudsen, your sentence will be adjudication, time served.
No wish to accept. Second.
All right, what plea do you wish to enter, Mr. Knudsen?
What's your plea?
What plea?
What's your plea?
No contest.
All right, I'll accept your no contest plea and sentence you to adjudication and time served. Good luck, sir. Sidney Stange.
He's approaching, Judge.
All right, Mr. Stange is before the court on a traffic capias matter. 2 charges, 1 and 2 are traffic capiases. And it looks like Mr. Stange did not appear for arraignment on 5/22. So the court finds probable cause. What does Mr. Stange wish to do?
Judge, Mr. Stanger advised me that he's going to be bonding out. In fact, he says, can we check to see if his bond has already been posted?
Okay. All right. It's not showing yet, so. He does have $500 on bond on each count from the, see what judge. I don't know what judge. Okay. All right, someone signed in, for someone on page 22, Carlos Hodgson. Is that person here? On page 22, Hodgson, Mr. Romero, have you been able to speak to Mr. Hodgson?
I have, Judge.
All right, so he's before the court this morning for one count of burglary, unoccupied structure, unarmed. And the court finds probable cause. All right, and I'll hear from the parties as to bond. Good morning, ma'am.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I am well. Is there something that you wish to say to the court?
Yes, I'm here because he was on probation.
Who are you?
Hi, my name is Irisha Brooks, and I'm Carlos Hodgson's wife.
Okay, and let me just tell you, I know that he was on probation, but I'll also let you know, I don't know what you're going to say. And I can't give you legal advice, but everything in this courtroom is being recorded, okay? And anything you say also pertains to you, that it could be used against you at a later time, okay? All right. That's not to deter you from speaking, it's just to let you know what's going on here.
Understand?
All right? So what do you want to say?
I really don't know what's going on with this case. This is something new, and I've been calling around to get information in regards to what's going on, and I don't have any information.
Okay. All right. Looks like he's going to be represented by the attorneys from the Public Defender's Office. Mr. Reedy is one of them, and then the other attorney that you see on the screen over at the main jail. So once this case is assigned to an attorney, you may want to speak with them in regards to this matter, okay? All right, well, that's why we're here now. That's
Okay.
what we're discussing,
Thank you.
okay? All right,
Your Honor, the state is going to be requesting a $10,000 bond. Noting, you have the details about the burglary. There was over $1,000 worth of damage done to the business itself. The loss suffered by the business is approximately $10,000 when considering the damage and amount of property stolen. And yes, he has been on probation since mid-April of this year. But I would note that he was placed on 3 years probation out of Lee County for the same offenses he's before the court on: burglary of a structure, there's a grand theft, and resisting without violence.
okay.
Judge, I'm going to be requesting a $2,500 bond on this third-degree felony, and this is the reason why. As Mr. Lender did state, Mr. Hodgson is currently being supervised. He's been supervised, I believe, since April 9th, with no violations. My understanding, Judge, and from speaking to Mr. Hodgson, he believes when the law enforcement spoke to him regarding this incident, I believe the date of offense is somewhere around 2016. So the alleged incident happened almost 3 years ago, Judge. Right now, he's living in Miami Gardens with his wife and his 2 children. He's grateful that his wife is here for support. He's also going to be counting on his wife to help post his financial bond. My understanding, he works at a call center, and they're both raising their 2 children in their apartment that they rent, that they do not own. They've been living there for about 3 years, and their monthly rent is approximately $1,500 per month. Now, he works in construction. He's been doing that for about 4 months now, and he gets about anywhere from $100 to $150 a day on a good day. So as you can see, Judge, their financial resources isn't to the level where they can afford the $10,000 bond. I'm asking, one, considering he's currently being supervised, and if he's supervised, he picks up any new charge, he'll be held on a no bond hold, on a 948 hold. So there's enough incentive for him to basically, go to court and basically abide by all laws. And I'm asking for a $2,500 bond on this third-degree felony from 2016, Judge.
Okay. All right, so at this time, I will grant the defense request. I'll impose a $2,500 bond. And, so I know this is an incident date from 2016, so no return to GSM Unlimited Wireless, which is located at 4399 North University Drive in Sunrise, Florida. Okay?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, Noel Roman.
Judge, I'm informed he bonded.
Okay, thank you. Javon Henry.
North Broward.
Medical reset.
All right, Mr. Henry's a medical reset. James Slater.
County, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Slater is before the court on 2 additional charges. These at-charge cases, charge number 12 is defrauding financial institution. It's 12 and 13 are the charges. And the court finds probable cause. I'll hear from the parties as to bond.
Judge, I'd ask you to leave the bonds in place.
Okay. All right, so at this time, the court does find probable cause. The bonds on 12 and 13 are $3,500 each. Good luck, sir.
Okay.
Brandon Bozeman.
Please approach you, Judge. You see her at Maine.
All right, Mr. Bozeman is before the court for 1 count of carjacking without a firearm or weapon, and the court finds probable cause. I'll hear from the parties.
Your Honor, I'm going to request a $50,000 bond and no victim contact. Noting, Your Honor, that it appears Mr. Bozeman does not reside in the area. He was extradited here from North Carolina. His permanent address shows a North Carolina address. At the time of this incident, he had and has a pending grand theft auto out of Dade County.
Okay, is that the extent of his criminal history?
One moment, Your Honor. No, he has priors out of North Carolina. Let's see. Trespass from earlier this year, second-degree trespass late last year, assault on a government official, 2016. Disorderly conduct, 2011. Nothing further.
Okay.
Judge, Mr. Bozeman's been here in our community since about February. My understanding is he obtained a job with a contractor who, what they do is work painting and work on drywall. My understanding, that company basically hired Mr. Bozeman to go ahead and do work in South Carolina. So he was there for a couple of weeks doing work, but his intention was to turn back here to South Florida. As you heard, he has a matter pending in Dade County. He wants to address it, and he was, as soon as his work, I guess that specific job site was going to be over, he was going to be returning. But having said that, Judge, he was extradited from South Carolina. My understanding is, Judge, right now he really has no sort of savings. He really has nobody that he can contact to help post his monetary bond. Now, he did give me the phone number of his uncle, John, And I'm gonna call him after court, but from what he advised me, he's retired, so he's probably on a fixed income social security. There's no way, Mr. Bozeman's gonna be able to come up with $50,000. So I'm asking you to take that into consideration in determining reasonable release conditions for Mr. Bozeman.
And Your Honor, in addition to my cause for concern about his future appearance in court is just the allegations in this case. He's got an open grand theft auto. He's seen by a law enforcement officer looking into cars in a garage. He ultimately breaks into a car, steals it. When the owner of the car, or the person that was hired to move the car, transport the car, tries to stop him, even jumping through the open front window, he drives off, hitting the person with the car, and takes off with the car.
Okay. All right, so at this time, I am going to impose a $25,000 bond. And I am going to also impose a level 2 pretrial. No victim contact. All right. Okay. Leonard Campbell.
He's approaching Judge here in Maine.
Mr. Campbell is before the court on charge number 1 is burglary, occupied dwelling unarmed. Count 2 is petty theft. The court finds probable cause. I'll hear from the parties.
Honor, I'm not showing any history. State would be requesting a $2,500 bond. No victim contact, no return.
All right.
Judge, as you heard correctly, Mr. Campbell, this is his first time being arrested. I just asked him if he thinks his family can come up with the monetary bond of $2,500, which the state has asked for. He believes they can with the bondsman. So this time, nothing to add.
All right. Well, I was gonna put him on pretrial supervision.
And the monetary, let me ask him then. Thank you, Judge. Judge, he wishes to accept the court's offer as far as being placed on pretrial release.
All right, sir, your attorney is going to give you the information for the pretrial office. You must report within 24 hours of your release. If you don't report, a warrant will be issued for your arrest. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, miss.
All right, good luck. Adam Lanham.
I can't send it to her. It's not filed. It's a new offense. Oh,
I'm sorry, who did you call, Judge? I apologize.
Lanham, Adam Lanham.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
All right, Mr. Lanham is before the court on a violation of probation, felony violation of probation with a no bond hold. Number 2 is violation of pretrial, no bond, not for magistrate, and number 3 is a traffic habeas. The court finds probable cause.
Just ask you to leave the bond where it is, Judge. He's
Okay.
got the 2 no bond holds. He has
All
to
right,
do
so we'll leave the bonds in place, and Mr. Lanham does have court tomorrow before his division judge, okay? Anthony Guerrera.
He's approaching, Judge. He's here in Maine.
Mr. Guerrera is before the court on a possession of cocaine charge, and count 2 is a disobey stop sign, not for magistrate. The court finds probable cause.
Judge, to add at this time by the defense.
All right. Sure. All right. Okay, so the standard bond is $1,000, okay? Elijah Cannon.
Mr. Cannon, come on up, please.
Mr. Cannon is before the court for charge number 1 is resisting officer without violence, and 2 through 6 are a violation of felony probation. Those all have no bond holds. Mr. Cannon does have court tomorrow before his division judge. His bond on count 1 is $100. Mark Rudnick.
Rudnick, I've been advised, he's in court.
Mr. Rudnick is in, before his division judge. Okay. Melvin Allen.
No problem.
All right, Mr. Allen, you're before the court this morning. Charge number 1 is trafficking in cocaine. Number 2 is trafficking in heroin. Number 3 is trafficking in fentanyl. And number 4 is using a two-way communication device to facilitate a felony. And the court finds probable cause. Okay. And I'll hear from the parties.
Your Honor, I'm going to be requesting bonds in the following amounts. $15,000 on count 1, count 2, $250,000, count 3,
You say
500.
250,000?
Yes, ma'am. And that offense, if convicted, carries a 15-year minimum mandatory prison sentence.
Okay.
Count 3, $500,000 bond. If convicted, that offense carries a 25-year minimum mandatory prison sentence. $5,000 bond on count 4. I'm also requesting that the court keep in place all the special bond conditions that Judge Lynch set in the arrest warrant. Specifically, full collateralization, that any property used to collateralize the bond should not be further encumbered or liquidated during the pendency of the bond, that a surety shall provide to the state an updated title search within 10 days of the defendant's release, reflecting any recorded mortgages on the properties utilized for bond collateral, that the defendant will be monitored on a GPS monitor by pretrial services, and that the defendant will not possess any firearms. I would note his criminal history: 2005, he was convicted of burglary of a structure, grand theft, sentenced to 6 years state prison as a habitual offender. 05, grand theft, uttering a forged instrument, possession of cocaine, 6 years state prison as a habitual offender. 02, possession of cocaine. 98, grand theft auto, 5-year state prison. 97, burglary of a structure and grand theft with a VOP, 5-year state prison. 94, burglary of a dwelling, grand theft, 15-month state prison. Burglary of a dwelling, 89, 8-year state prison. 84, delivery of cocaine, 4-year state prison. Your Honor, I would also take note of the alleged deals in this case involving substantial amount of drugs for substantial amounts of cash.
Okay.
Well, we wouldn't have any objection to any of the special conditions that the state has outlined and that are previously part of the order, but as far as the monetary amount, Judge, Mr. Allen's never going to be able to come up with the kind of money to post that bond. I mean, even the $15,000 on count 1 would be a very difficult task for him. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Allen, but you don't have that kind of financial resource, do you?
No, I do not.
What do you think's the highest monetary bond you'd be able to post?
5,000.
So, Judge, I would ask for a total bond, including all counts, of $50,000.
And Your Honor, I just want to advise the court also, I checked my database, just so the court's aware, as far as for filing purposes, lab tests have been done on the alleged drugs in the arrest warrant. They have been confirmed for the same, they have been identified as a substance that they're alleged to be in the warrant, and the amounts listed in the warrant were confirmed by the lab as well.
Okay. All right. At this time, I am going to impose, the 15,000 on count one. Counts 2 and 3 will also be 15,000. And then on count 4, $5,000. And that's also going to include all the other special conditions. The defendant will also be on pretrial, will not possess any firearms, the collateralization that is required, all 5 special conditions that are attached to the warrant, the affidavit to arrest, okay? All right, Bernard Sewell.
He's here present, Judge May.
Mr. Sewell is before the court for grand theft auto and, I'm sorry. Mr. Sewell is before the court on 1 charge of grand theft auto, and number 2 is carrying concealed firearm, and the court finds probable cause.
Judge, in speaking Mr. Sewell, his family will be posting his bond.
Your Honor, I'm requesting a GPS monitor in addition to the bonds. His legal status is a juvenile's conditional release for offenses such as strong arm robbery, another strong arm robbery, felony battery, grand theft auto, and resisting without violence.
Right, in addition to Mr. Sewell's monetary bond, I am going to place him on level 1 GPS for pretrial.
Judge, my understanding is Mr. Sewell is working. He works in construction, he works separately from what he advises me. Level 1 is going to prevent him from basically work.
Where does he work?
Let the judge know where he works.
I work at Hard Rock Casino.
How long have you been working there?
4 months.
Who do you report to? Do you have a boss?
Yeah.
Do you know the boss's phone number?
954-929-5202.
What's the name of that person?
Carlos.
Is Carlos at work now?
Most likely.
All right. Good morning. This is Judge Jackie Powell. Is there a Carlos there that I could speak with?
Carlos is not here right now.
Okay.
I can give you his cell if you want to.
Well, okay, hold on just a moment. What is the name of this place that I'm calling?
Labor for hire.
Labor for hire. So, I have someone before me in court today that I want to determine where it is that they work, and he gave me this number and told me that to ask for Carlos. So are you someone who is able to verify information as well?
One moment, let me check my computer. One moment.
Okay.
Do you have his or her social security number?
We don't. No, I don't have that information. If I give you the first and last name.
Yeah, one moment. What is his last name?
Sewell.
Two L's.
Well.
His name?
The first name is Bernard. Bernard. Bernard.
Sewell, yeah. Yeah,
Well, do you know what his schedule is? How often where does he work?
He usually he's working right now in a Hard Rock Hotel.
Okay,
He usually starts from 7 to 3:30, 7 to 4:30, from Monday through Saturday and sometimes Sunday.
do you tell him every day what time he has to report, or is this a set schedule that he goes every day from 7 to?
He's in a weekly ticket right now.
On a
They
weekly?
like him.
Okay.
He's working very hard.
Uh-huh.
And we give him the ticket and he goes straight over there.
Okay.
Oh, and Your Honor, I'm sorry, what time do they say he works till?
7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m.
Does she know if he was scheduled to work yesterday?
At what time? And do you know if he was scheduled to work yesterday?
He was, but he didn't go.
Okay.
It says he was arrested at 2
Is he still able to go? Because today he's before me, so is he still able to continue working?
Sure, yes.
All right.
We need him.
What was your name again?
Vilma Garcia.
All right, thank you, Miss Garcia.
Bye-bye.
All right, thank you. All right, so based on that information, I'll put him on a level 2. I'll change it to level 2, okay? Sean Ryder. Yes.
He's approaching, Judge.
At least there was one person who knows a phone number straight off the top of their head, and it was correct. All right, Mr. Ryder is before the court on a violation of parole matter, and so, Mr. Ryder, you'll be going before the parole board shortly, okay? Jake Frangello.
He's approaching, Judge.
All right, Mr. Frangello is before the court. Charge number 1 is grand theft, and 2 and 3 are felony violation of probation. Mr. Frangello does have no bond holds on those violations, and the court finds probable cause. He has a $1,000 bond on 1, and he goes before his division judge tomorrow at 8:30. Okay? Sion Myland.
Mr. Mylan, come on up, please.
All right, Mr. Myland is before the court. Charge number 1 is possession of a weapon or ammo by a convicted felon. Number 2 is aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Okay?
Your Honor, the state's going to be requesting a $20,000 bond on count 1, a $50,000 bond on count 2. No victim contact. I understand that these cases are from 2017. I would direct the court's attention to the capias. We filed it in 2017. The reason we're
Judge, nothing to add from the defense.
Okay. All right. So 20,000 on 1, 50,000 on 2. Okay. Iago Cabral.
Judge, he's here. He requires a Portuguese interpreter, and what did you find out?
What I found out was he was gonna be here right around 11 o'clock, so let me get an update.
All right.
Okay, recall.
Hector Renta Astacio.
Mr. Renta Estacio, come on up, please.
Thank you. All right, so Mr. Astacio, just to let you know, the charges that are presented are possession of ID of another person, and then use of false ID adversely affecting another. The court finds probable cause, but I've also been advised that your bond has been posted. Okay? All right, Arkell Watson.
Medical reset.
Medical reset on Mr. Watson. Stephen Henry.
He's approaching, Judge.
What's this? Parole.
All right, Mr. Henry is before the court on a violation of parole. Mr. Henry, you should be going before the parole board shortly, okay? Frenzy St. Fleur.
Mr. St. Fleur is here present, Judge. He declined the services of public attorney.
Hey, I think I posted on. Yeah, ask her. Excuse me, miss.
Yes.
How you doing? Can you check if I posted bond? Because I remember, I know I call people and stuff, so I don't know.
You're up.
Does anyone know, is Mr. Sanflor bond posted? Mr. Sanflor, nothing is showing at this time. All right, so state.
Your Honor, Your Honor, I'm going to be seeking a bond increase to $10,000, and I want to bring to the court's attention that Mr. St. Fleur is out on bond right now on file charges of trafficking in synthetic cannabinoids and possession of cannabis with intent to sell. It appears he's out on a $105,000 bond. He was arrested April 16th and released April 18th.
All right, so, Mr. Sanflor, based on the information that I've been provided, I am going to increase your bond to $10,000. Okay? All right. Good luck, sir.
How much is the bond? So it's bond, right? It's $1,000?
Giovanni Masiello. Mr. Masiello, you're before the court for one count of, it's a violation of parole with a no bond hold, and you should be going before your, the parole board shortly, okay? All right, Daniel Cruz.
Mr. Cruz is approaching, Judge.
All right, Mr. Cruz is before the court for, charge number 1 is robbery, no firearm or weapon. 2 is robbery, no firearm or weapon.
Your Honor, I'm going to ask the court to keep the no bonds in place. Really, frankly, Mr. Cruz is supposed to be in front of Judge Merrigan this morning. I've reviewed the transport orders on both cases signed by Judge Merrigan, and it states he's supposed to be, I believe, for arraignment or for some type of hearing June 13th at 9 a.m.
Okay.
Your Honor, what happened? Your Honor, and just noting in the order that Judge Merrigan signed, it specifically says that the Sheriff of Broward County shall keep him in custody until the proceedings have concluded and shall thereafter return said defendant from whence she came. So under that order, I'd ask that the no bonds be kept in place.
Okay. All right.
Judge, I think legally he is entitled to a bond. This is the first time he's appeared here in magistrate court. This is not a PBL offense. But at the same time, Judge, his EOS date is for 2022, so he's not going to be going anywhere.
And I'm not saying he might not necessarily be entitled to a bond. I believe that has to be brought before Judge Merrigan, unless Mr. Romero has anything to indicate that Judge Merrigan's order is illegal. But even then, that determination.
So these are filed charges.
Yes.
That are pending before Judge Merrigan.
Yes, ma'am.
And let me look at this order again. There are several orders here, which, okay. I have the not in custody KPS. I have the,
Should be the order.
okay, the order returning defendant to court.
Yes, ma'am.
Today is June 13th. Oh,
My understanding is he'll be brought before Judge Merrigan
was he,
tomorrow.
tomorrow?
That's what,
Well, this, oh, because this order did say today at 9 a.m.
I know.
Well, the only thing though, even though this order said that he's supposed to be, it doesn't say anything about the bond.
Your Honor, but by definition, if he's supposed to be kept in custody and then returned to the Department of Corrections, then what bond could be set that could be posted to be of any usefulness? The intent is for him to remain in custody at a minimum until he sees Judge Merrigan.
Which is why it should have been not brought to magistrate, but brought to Judge Merrigan.
And that, Your Honor, and that's why I asked, my understanding, normally these are taken off the docket.
Does he have a court date before Judge Merrigan? Can that be confirmed? All right,
And I will get in touch with the
we need to make sure that he gets to court tomorrow.
and I'll get in touch with the ASA.
I mean, unless Judge Merrigan says no, but at this point in time, it looks like he should have been in court today before Judge Merrigan.
Your Honor, I will contact the ASA assigned to the case so he is aware.
All right, so I'm not gonna take any action. He gets to see Judge Merrigan on these matters, okay? All right. All right, where is, oh, so Mr. Cabral, we need a Portuguese interpreter. All right, so Mr. Cabral will reset for this afternoon? All right, thank you. All right, I believe we're at the end of our morning docket, and I will see everyone this afternoon at 1 p.m. Okay?